Hey, everyone, Mark and Joy back here from commercial and switching leagues now and switching surfaces to ice from, although we're getting close to some ice being involved in the NFL too, but we're into the NHL.
A lot of rain so far,
yeah, we're going to be in the NHL. Yeah, that rain was insane yesterday, wasn't it? Oh my God. Anyway, we're going to move into the NHL now and lots of stories there as well, although the season's just kind of getting going, so not as much as they're in the NFL.
Some early stories.
But we've had two really underperforming groups here, both the players and the teams. The top two picks in the draft, we were expecting a lot more out of these guys and a lot more out of their teams.
Right, so Hughes and Kakko have not been enough right now. I know they're rookies, but these teams banked on them being staple offensive players in their lineups.
And some other players to help them.
Especially the Rangers with Panarin. And then even the Devils went out, guys, Subban on the defensive end of it. These teams expected, so the picks and the teams together were expected to be pretty good, and one of them at least make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I thought they both might, but I definitely thought the Rangers would. And it's early in the season, but early impressions are not good, guys. They're not much better than last year. In fact, New Jersey Devils are just as bad. The Rangers still have a chance. You know, they've won a couple of games. I mean, obviously Jersey has a chance too, but I'm just saying, right now, it's not different at all, and neither for the picks either. They only have one goal apiece. They got to get going.
Well, and early season confidence is important. It isn't about can they win. If it goes badly too early, the home fans start to get on these young guys. And
especially because of the hype of these two teams. You know, you hype them up by getting free agents, getting these picks, adding pieces around you to say, hey, just because we got the first and second overall pick doesn't mean we can't win right now. Yeah. And that's what the impression you gave to your fans. So, anyways, topic one here in the NHL. Will they turn around these top two picks and teams? I don't know. I hope they do. I do have the Rangers more than the Devils because I feel like with Lundqvist in goal, Panarin, Kakko,
although he's pretty old,
more of a veteran team. I'm interested to see what goes on here, but so far both have disappointed, and hopefully they can turn around for the NHL's sake. Those are big markets for the NHL. New York being number one, New Jersey probably in the top 10. I don't know for sure, but definitely New York Rangers number one hockey team.
Well, and like I said, if it doesn't turn around quickly, these kids are going to lose their confidence, and that's not what you want. You'll have a real stinker of a season. Yeah. Not a great way to start off your career.
Not when Matthews and the other guys.
I was going to say there's been a lot of pressure of the previous number ones and twos that have come into the league. A lot of pressure there, so hopefully they'll turn that around quickly. We always hate to see the young guys not be successful because it's now all about young guys. Years ago, in my day, a rookie wouldn't even be playing yet. He'd be in the farm system or might even be getting 5 minutes a game. But now they're get them in the game and they need to be good.
When you see teams like the Leafs and the Oilers and this year specifically, but the Leafs and other teams out there, you got to go faster now. And teams are now going out getting free agents to build around these rookies. So you got to win when you can. And the Rangers did that. So, and so did the Devils.
So we'll see what's going to happen there. It's really, really unfortunate. Our number two topic here is backup goalies and how important they're becoming. This thing, and again, I don't know if it's just coaches or whether it's the league is tougher, but this whole thing of not playing goalies back-to-back, I mean, I'm from the day and age where goalies play 70 freaking games in a year. Well, but this is not the case anymore.
We're in an era of management of players. And respectfully, you pay goalies a good amount of money. They're the most important thing when you get to the playoffs. But what happens is you get a situation like last year where Boston comes out and says, we didn't play Tuukka Rask, that's why we were so great in the playoffs. And teams go, crap, we need to do that. Yeah. And you get the St. Louis situation, which was Binghamton didn't even come in until halfway through the season and played amazing. So, I put this topic in because it's very interesting and very important. Teams do not want to play their goalies more than even 55 to 60 games anymore. Yeah. They really need a backup to play 20-something games, and it's crazy that they're putting that much risk in a backup goaltender. So they are more important than ever. Also, with scheduling of the NHL, with the bigger gaps in the bigger breaks in the All-Star games and in the off-season now, there's more back-to-backs than ever too, and they're not playing their goalie back-to-back nights. I guarantee you that. And these backup goalies are playing quite a few games, right after the other, and they're not winning. And this sticks out to me because my home team, the Leafs, are right in that situation. Yeah. They have not won a second game in a back-to-back. I don't blame Hutchinson. Truthfully, the team hasn't been great either, but that's why goaltenders are becoming more important. You see teams like Edmonton, Colorado have a dynamic duo of two goaltenders. Washington's doing fairly well with their two goaltenders. Buffalo, guys, I'm telling you, you need a two-goalie system now to get you through the regular season. It was the same when Pittsburgh went back-to-back cups. it was actually only because they had Fleury and Murray, not just one or the other. So they had both goalies. They won cups. Last year, you had Boston get there with a 2-goalie system until playoff time. You had St. Louis get lucky with their goaltending coming in late in the year.
Right.
But this is a new era we're in of management of goaltenders, and they need their goalies healthy in the playoffs, so they are rolling 2-goalie systems. You need to find yourself a good backup.
Well, Joey, we might see some of what we're seeing in the NFL right now is some older quarterbacks. For instance, with Kansas City yesterday.
Matt Moore played amazing.
Matt Moore, and he's got, 10 years worth of experience. So, I think we might start to see that some, not the superstar goalies are not going to go as backups, obviously, but some guy who was kind of a good starter, had a number of years and was pretty decent. He's getting the end of his career, might hang around longer now as a backup. The body gets better. They make a couple $1 million a year and they step in. But I think we're going to see that when they're now resting these number ones, that we're going to see you have to have a good number 2.
And I tell you what, Curtis McElhinney's making a career now because of the new NHL. Yeah. I mean, he was a great backer for the Leafs, went to Carolina, did a great job there, even won a playoff game or started a playoff game. He's one of those guys you're talking about. Yep. He's a Matt Moore of hockey, and you're going to see a lot of these goaltenders, hang around, see what jobs they can pick up, see where they can plug in. Very impressive for him specifically. But yes, backup goaltenders are becoming more and more important. It'll be interesting. Hey, if you are that goalie, you can take a risk of going to a team and being a starter and getting booed out of the league entirely by looking bad, or go to a better team, be a backup, go for a cup.
And $2-3 million these days for a backup.
Yeah,
so really, it's not a bad job at all. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit here now about some surprises we've seen where teams are outperforming.
Okay.
As opposed to disappointments.
I basically picked this topic because of one team I'm baffled by, and I hope they pull it together and don't fade. It's Buffalo Sabres, man. They are lighting up the NHL right now. First place in the Eastern Conference, and they did this to us last year when they got to the first place in the NHL halfway through.
Went the other way.
But I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Buffalo Sabres right now. I hope for Buffalo, they got the Bills. They're looking good. If the Sabres can look good, I mean, they deserve it because it's a horrible place to live. And they need sports teams. But, the Sabres, they're the number one team that's outperforming what anyone would have expected. Yeah. I don't even know many players on the Sabres, to be honest with you, besides Jack Eichel. And he's leading that team. He's the captain, by the way. Doing a great job, obviously, leading this team. A young team, and just wow. I don't know.
One other team, and let's call it an expected surprise, because we've been expecting them to be good for a while. They have the best player in the league, and he is their captain as well. And it sometimes takes a while for these young captains to become influential and the team to catch up to them. I feel, especially in Edmonton, but a surprise out of the gate with Edmonton as well.
So Edmonton as well, another surprise outperforming kind of what people expected. Even with the talent, no one expected that they did enough to make the playoffs. They have the talent. They haven't made the playoffs. They went out and got Mike Smith, a veteran goaltender, underrated pickup there. Talk about veteran goaltenders. Yeah. So Edmonton outperforming. I'm going to say Buffalo is outperforming. Carolina outperforming a little bit. I know they made the playoffs last year, but I thought they lost too many players to continue it, including a second goalie, their top defenseman, and their captain. They're still performing really well. Islanders are right now in a playoff spot. I think they'll fade, but right now outperforming. So you got 3-4 outperforming their stuff early this season. Great to see. I think a couple will fade, but Buffalo and Edmonton, if they can keep it going, what impressive season that'd be. And I hope they do, because I think at the end of the day, they have some superstars that are important to the NHL, and I think it'd just be great stories too for Buffalo to get back in there, and same with Edmonton. But they are off to crazy starts, not like other teams that are off to good starts. They're off to insane starts.
Yeah, we're looking really forward to that, especially on the Edmonton side. Canadian team. Right. We'd like to have a lot of Canadian teams in the playoffs. Obviously, we're strong. It's our country sport and drives a lot of viewership. But more so, the Edmonton people have been waiting a long time for Connor McDavid to turn this team into the type of team that they always thought they would be. So we're going to hopefully see that happening. We want to talk about disappointments, Joey, as well. And that includes our own team.
Yeah, right now, you got the Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs, you got Dallas Stars out in the West, Chicago Blackhawks. We're going to touch on a little bit of Chicago a little bit later, too. Big decisions there. But
let's be clear, in case you're new to the show, we're from Toronto. That's why I called it our own team. We're disappointed because we have really high hopes this year for the team. That's why they fit in that disappointing category right now.
Yeah, so there's a couple there. I mean, I'm going to go based on the earliness of the season and go, I don't really want to get into it too much, but they are disappointments right now, and very interested if they can turn around what the playoffs might look like.
I would say right now, the Leafs are the biggest challenge, because all of a sudden we have a big coaching challenge. We got players calling out Babcock. We've got a lot of unrest in the dressing room. We had a couple late contracts, particularly Marner. He's not racking up the points like he was before. So our leave team, I'm really worried this is a prolonged season-long problem. We're going to see what happens there. But certainly, they've got to be. Tampa Bay is a real disappointment. They ran away with the league last year.
Yeah, and they're now out of a playoff spot. Like I said, I think they'll make it, but it is interesting they're not dominating like they did last year.
Yeah.
Another disappointment is Montreal. I know all Montreal fans. Again, we're from Canada, so they're not doing as well. Winnipeg, they're not doing as well either. So a couple Canadian teams too that aren't living up to expectations.
I kind of see Winnipeg maybe pulling together. They had a lot of late signings.
They did. I don't think they'll pull it together. I picked them to miss the playoffs. I went bold and said they're going to miss the playoffs. I think they had too much going on early in the season. Yeah. I don't think they have a cohesive unit.
That's, by the way, come back too because of that.
The team's surprising. We're all young, and I had another thing on young teams. They're working together now. Vancouver looking good. A young team working together.
Yeah.
So Colorado, by the way, another young team with a young captain. They're working together. Some of these teams aren't working together. The Leafs right now, Winnipeg right now, Tampa Bay looks a little disarray. So these teams with kind of like superstars and a few veterans aren't really working right now. But the young teams that everything's kind of equal. Like I said, Colorado, kind of I know McDavid's there, but still Edmonton has a lot of just other players that are working together. These young teams are good. Vancouver, they're cohesive units. Arizona, I wanted to mention them. They're in a playoff spot right now. I know they got Phil Kessel, but other than that, they're pretty young overall. So all these teams kind of with better chemistry are looking better right now than teams with massive superstars.
Yeah, but it's a long way to go, so we're going to see what's going to happen. But
it's early.
But Joey, there were some teams that lost some top players this year too, and are still performing.
So this is
Islanders. You mentioned
this is inspired by the Islanders. Truthfully, I got to be honest.
Carolina.
I ragged on them, and Carolina. I ragged on them too. I ragged on both these teams thinking that they lost too many players. And I know it was only actually 3 players, but in hockey, I thought they were impactful players. Islanders really lost a lot. First of all, they lost their goaltender, which was not only their goaltender, kind of the heart of the team because he had battled alcoholism and then kind of came back to resurge his career in Robin Lehner. And he had a great season last year. I thought that was just enough. I just thought he was enough that he would take away the heart and soul of the team and their top goaltender. They went and got Varlamov. He's doing well enough to play really well right now, so congratulations to him. He's from Colorado. He lost his job there, and that's why he's here. They also lost a couple of signings that they thought they were going to get, didn't get. So I'm putting that in the category of disheartening losses. They thought they might get Marner at one point. Didn't happen. Thought they could get Panarin. Didn't happen. So they lost a couple also potential players, which sometimes with the media these days, the players notice that. They go, man, guys don't want to come here. They choose their rival in the New York Rangers. So I just thought they lost a couple of players either in free agency or from their team to begin with. Carolina, I mentioned that Justin Schultz, guys, was a top defenseman on this team. Justin Williams was their captain, Game 7 hero, playoff hero. Really, I thought led this team. Lost McElhinney, who you might underrate his performance, but shared the net with Mrazek and was important also in the playoffs. I thought those 3 players, one on offense, one on defense, one in net, could be enough for them to, not make the playoffs this year. Both teams still might not make the playoffs, but they're off to good starts. They're pulling together again, as I said in the last segment. Teams with chemistry are better than teams with stars right now.
Yeah, and that's a great point about pulling together. Sometimes you lose those stars. It actually pulls the rest of the team together to play better than they might have. And they get more ice time and lots of other stuff. They get confidence. So, good for them. I
felt like the captain of the Islanders kind of pushed them to sign him to a bigger deal than he deserved because of the last 6 players. But, hey he's leading the team, and there they are. So
that's been a great thing for them. So, now, how good is Matthews? Oh, sorry, the outdoor game in the snow and in Regina.
Yeah, so I want to touch upon this because outdoor games have become the staple in the NHL. Yeah. I mean, they do a couple. They're now not doing it just as New Year's. They're doing it throughout the season. And I wanted to mention this. If you're Canadian, it was the most perfect outdoor game you can imagine. To me, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
In October snowing.
But October snowing in Regina, Saskatchewan, which is another province in Canada. They've never had an NHL hockey game there. They go there and they get a great game with snow. It was just perfect if you're a true Canadian. And, they are going all over the globe with these outdoor games. I think it's great. I wanted to mention it because it just fit perfectly. They have provided close games for the most part. I feel rather boring. I feel like the hockey's slow. Now it's created excitement.
Yeah, but you got to realize some of us old guys, that's the way hockey was.
I know.
We've watched a couple of those classic games. They're all slow. That's the way it was.
For me, they're working for the fans and they're getting good results, and the players are embracing it and really helping market them with the cool jerseys they've come up just for these games.
Yeah.
So they're creating cool jerseys, cool gear for the fans. So it's working.
And I think it's great to go to places like Saskatchewan that doesn't have a team. It engages them in the NHL. We have a lot of teams in Canada. Obviously, everywhere the NHL is looking to increase viewership. And these kinds of things help in cities that don't have their own team. So I think it was a great pick. It was a great game because in October you're not expecting snow and cold, but that's Canada,
Perfect.
Especially Saskatchewan in the middle of Canada. They can get that at any time. So anyway, so fun game. I think it's great that they're expanding them and that they keep them going. I think it's fantastic. Now we want to talk about a personal subject. How good is Matthews? Is he a top 5 or is he better than that in the league now?
Well, actually, the conversation people are having is he a top 5 player? More meaning, is he outside the top 5? And I think whoever says that is absolutely out their mind. Yeah. I cannot believe this isn't a Leaf topic. This is an NHL topic. Yeah. You're absolutely nuts if you think he's not a top 5 player in the league. And I hear guys ragging on him because he's not both ends. Give me a break. And I just think, they're not looking at skill anymore these days. People just love to hate. They're not looking at what someone great. Joey, he's the best scorer in the NHL. He's equal to Alexander Ovechkin. If you're a fan of Ovechkin, he is the second coming of Alexander Ovechkin with a left-handed shot. Yeah. He has the exact same game. He's tying his records. In fact, the only person better than Matthews in all these categories is Ovechkin. Nobody else. And Matthews even tied Ovechkin a couple, beat Ovechkin a couple. Ovechkin has him in a couple himself. They're equally the same player. Very, very impressive. I hate anyone who thinks he's not top 5 and saying you're just trying to boost your ratings.
There's no doubt about it, Joey. And here's the problem. All the guys on TV are old.
Yes.
They're all old. They're all retired. They have memories of a game that was slower, that you could go both ways. You can't go both ways in the NHL. It's too fast.
Yeah.
You can't go up and down that ice. You've got to have specialists. That's what the game's built on now. The defensive cores are really strong. The 2 players get back, and the goal scorer, if it's a first or second liner, is not able to do both. And he's got to do his job. As long as he's doing his job on the other end, that's what you got to go for. But all these guys, they're way old guys, and they always want the old days if you got to play 2 ways and all that other crap. No, sports today is all about specialists, and hockey is no different. Scorers are scorers, and defensive forwards and defensemen are what protects your own end. Has to be that way. Otherwise, guys are going to get hurt. They're going to be too tired, and they're not going to score the goals you want. Then you're upset that they're a 2-way player because they're not scoring 50 goals in the season.
The Leafs media is the only media that can get upset about a guy who's probably going to score more than 50 goals this year.
Yeah.
Like, how pathetic.
Yeah, anyway. That's the rag on Toronto media. Always has been, right? So, anyway, Matthews, top 5, give me a break. He's maybe top 2.
I'm just telling you.
Maybe McDavid.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, I know, but it's ridiculous, right? Let's look at Chicago. Is it time over for their 2 stars?
I foreshadowed this. Is the Taves and Kane era over, guys? This is going to be their 3rd or 4th year missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
They fired Quenneville last year. They had a good run. They come back with that young coach, and now they've off to a last place start in the West.
Yeah.
Is the era over? I'm going to say yes, it is. And I don't think they can do enough right now to help these two. I think
here's what they can do enough to help the team. Trade both of them and get draft picks.
Exactly. It's a rebuilding stage now. I mean, you don't really have... remember the glory years of Chicago with Duncan Keith, Canes, Taves, Marian Hossa, all these extra veterans on the sides of these 2 younger guys with a good goaltender in Crawford, and they knew how to play good hockey, playoff hockey. That's gone, and they're trying to find a way to make these 2 work with younger pieces, and it's just not there.
No.
And they can't find a goaltender that can stay healthy. And then they fired the coach that the team was upset about. He came in, did a good enough job that I thought they had potential this year. I actually thought they might make the playoffs because of the run they went on.
Another slow start.
But it was just another slow start here by Chicago with this team and this coach. So I think it's time for an overhaul. I know people can't believe it, but their contracts are large, and they're not simply the 2 best. They're not in the top 15. Well, Kane, maybe Taves' his game has really kind of come off a little bit here. Kane obviously still has a skill set that'd be perfect on a good team because he has a scoring skill set like McDavid. Like Matthews. But they're not carrying the load anymore, and they need to get rid of them at $11 million a year.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like the old days where the contracts weren't huge. These guys are using a tremendous amount of the cap. You can get good draft picks for them. You need to make those moves. The days of a guy playing with one team his whole career are almost done or are done. You might get someone like Ovechkin who's going to be able to go his whole career in Washington. But most cases, they got to move these older veterans out who are making this big, big money. and pick up some draft picks, start over again, and build that team towards the playoffs. These two are not going to be able to do it any longer. So anyway, those two we think are gone. They should be gone at least.
Should be gone.
Yeah. And we feel bad for Chicago. It's always nice to have the same guys forever. Just doesn't happen in the NHL any longer.
Pittsburgh's been able to find a way, but
yeah. And there's going to be a couple teams always that are going to be able to build around those teams. They had to fire their coach to make it happen. I know Chicago tried that last year. Obviously not working. So let's talk about this. Topic number 10 here in the NHL is coaches getting fired. And I think we're looking at a few are going to happen.
So I'm thinking Babcock's gone by the end of the year. I think
it might be. I'll tell you what, if the team doesn't play better, it might be an in-season transition.
Yeah, I agree, and I think you gotta look at Rangers possibility. You gotta look at Chicago, as I mentioned. If you do trade Canes and Taves, who would you bring in to start the new era? I don't think it's the guy they got now. I'm not very impressed with him. Minnesota, Bruce Boudreau, he's got to go. They're not very good right now. Players are hating on him. They're arguing.
He's an old timer again. It's we've seen it in the NFL, Joey. It's the time for the young.
Well, I tell you what,
you see that in the
NHL. Pittsburgh went to a player, younger player, Mike Sullivan. Carolina, I've credited Rod Brindamore in the great job he's done. I think they got to switch up even in Vegas. While they're not necessarily young, he's kind of a hipper older dude who's running a great team there. Really, I think also he lets his team do a lot of the talking with Fleury being leaders and stuff like that. So coaches are going to be gone. Dallas, if you cannot figure this out after the run you had last year, that is a mistake. You have Ben Bishop, a 6'7" goaltender. You have Tyler Seguin, a great offensive player. You got Joe Pavelski from the San Jose Sharks. There's players I'm missing. I don't know why you're not winning. It's off. It's weird to me, but that's a coach that has to be gone. If you can't even get him back in the playoffs next year. If Nashville cannot win a cup, when do you get rid of him? This is a stage where they're the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. They win all those years making the playoffs, but if you can't win a cup with the team you got and the goaltender you got, specifically in Pekka Rinne, who's been the best, easily by far, you got to fire him. Montreal, I mean, how do you not fire him if you can't get Montreal back to the playoffs? I mean, there's so many coaches out here that are on different schedules of success. Some teams need to get to the playoffs. Some teams have been in the playoffs.
Well, a little bit older teams have got to get there now. I mean, the time is short.
Pekka Rinne in Nashville is a big one for me, and it might shock people because no one's talking about this, but this is the Pittsburgh scenario.
Yeah.
How do you not win a cup with the players you've had on your team? They got to get it done this year.
Well, it proved to be right. Look at Pittsburgh all those years. They fired their coach.
Got to get done, man.
They get a new guy in, and you can say the other guy finished first all the time. He didn't win Stanley Cup. The new guy wins two, back-to-back.
Yeah.
It's a big change. It's got to happen, especially on teams that were expected to make the playoffs and were expected to be really good. I'll tell you what, the Leafs are in peril. I don't think Babcock lasts the season. He's got the dressing room up in arms. It's not just about playing badly on the ice, but it's really a mess here right now in Toronto with a team that should be rivaling for the Cup. And I'm really upset because I picked them to play LA in the Cup. So
you need to play Vegas.
They need Vegas. Yeah, they need to turn that.
By the way, Los Angeles Kings, get rid of Kovalchuk, fire your coach, start over again. You're making mistakes. Get rid of Drew Doughty. He's like a gazillion years old with no teeth. I mean, another team that needs to make changes. You're just not good. Lots of stuff happening in the NHL here.
And they're used to winning cups. They have a couple cups and
three. They had three.
Sitting at the bottom of the league is not where they want to be, right? So
not in LA.
So there you go. That's the NHL wrap up. We'll be back here in a couple seconds here. Little commercial break, and we'll look forward to talking NBA, which started this week. Lots happening there as well.